There's only so much money can buy when it comes to improving our golf game. And with one of the hardest clubs in the bag, this is no exception. For example, it's not going to help you with this, or this, or this. So let's please ignore the temptation of buying something brand new and shiny to fix your fairway wood woes on the golf course. And even though we're going to talk about how you can start hitting, well, either of these a lot better, but also let's talk about what I do think the newer stuff brings to the table to potentially help your golf game and scores. Let's try and cover the topics for you guys that don't hit your fairway wood as well, like this. Oh yeah, she is gone. Not bad for a 20-pound fairway wood. So for you guys that are already topping your fairway wood, you can't get on with it. Driver's fine, irons you get away with, fairway wood you can't. And to be honest, it's no surprise. If you can hit your fairway wood well in golf, let's be honest, the rest of the bag should pretty much fall into place. Reason being, you've got to hit it off the ground. It's the least lofted club in the bag that you have to hit on the ground. Not to mention, it's the longest club in your golf bag that you have to hit off the ground. And because of those factors, any side spin that you do put on the ball, because it's so de-lofted, will always take it for a ride. Unlike your 9-iron, your 8-iron and 7-iron, where you just see, well, a soft fade. So let's address this first. Don't worry, Foresight, that is in very good hands. Topping the ball is extremely common when it comes to the fairway wood, mainly because golf doesn't make sense. We feel to get the ball up in the air, we need to hit up on it. And a lot of you guys will be hitting the first two grooves of your fairway wood because of it. Not only does this not help our club speed because we're backing away from it, if you're hitting the bottom of the fairway wood, gear effect alone is going to de-loft that club face at address, meaning you're getting lower launch. So let's start hitting down on it. There's multiple ways of doing this, and to be honest, anything that gets you hitting this way onto the fairway wood opposed to this is, in my eyes, pretty good. The idea of having an alignment stick behind us is it's going to stop you doing this. We want to start getting a bit more of this action. Alternatively, we could put something like a tee peg or a coin in front of the golf ball. And whether you're doing the alignment stick or the coin ahead of the golf ball method, don't worry where the ball goes. We are purely worried about strike, as a fairway wood is incredibly difficult to hit. Not only are we trying to maintain some level of loft at impact, we're still trying to hit down on that golf ball and to stop this or this. So even if your shot at the driving range looks something like this, at least you're starting to hit out the middle of that fairway wood. That being said, I'll let you off for not being too impressed just yet, because let's be honest, a lot of you will be able to do that. Hit it out the middle, not hit up on it, i.e. top it, yet the ball goes massively right or massively left. As golfers, to hit down on the ground, it's a lot easier to go up, steep, come down, hit the ball. You can get away with this method with your 7-iron, like so. And because it was a 7-iron, lofted at 30 degrees, and it did launch incredibly low, there was enough backspin because we hit down on it. And even though we came over the top, we created 1,700 worth of side spin, it's swamped by the 5,000 backspin. Hence why you have this relatively weak looking fade in your iron game. We try and recreate that same kind of swing, however, with our 5 wood. Look what ends up happening. We still hit down on it, we still came over the top, but look at our launch angle, meaning our side spin is huge, our backspin is similar, meaning you end up getting shots like these. And for this reason alone is why I love the fairway wood. It highlights a good portion of our mistakes. We can tee the driver up. So again, you can kind of get rid of this scooping and flipping at impact. When you got zero loft off the ground, the fairway wood will tell all. Meaning that if you can get a sound game with your fairway wood, it's not only going to make your good shots better with your iron play and your driver, it's also going to help your bad shots. Therefore, we know we can't do this down into the ball with our fairway wood, meaning we've got to get that club coming around ourselves. Not only that, because we've got to get it coming more shallow, more neutral, into out, it's going to be harder to hit down on the ground. Anything that tends to come more this way is harder to hit the ground, hence why we find it very easy coming this way. So let's combine them. Let's put two systems down. You got used to the strike, i.e. putting something ahead of the golf ball, like a coin, for example. And let's get something in our way. Let's break it down. Let's keep this simple. We know we need to hit down on that golf ball. We know that this head needs to travel more towards a target and not across ourselves. And if you put simple stuff on the ground, it saves, well, just a lot of thinking up here. It gets very confusing when we're trying to think about our club path and bring it down on the inside and people going like this. Let's put stuff down. Your body's very good at working out a way to try and find the middle of the club face as well as miss obstacles. You could even put a head cover on the inside here, for example, if you're at the driving range, so that you now have an obstacle not to hit and come across it. And because you've got the coin ahead of you, you know not to do this. And by all means, don't go flat out. Let's just get used to chipping it towards the target rather than trying to do it at 100%. Because there's two things that I find really hurt golfers when they're trying to change stuff. They want to find the middle of the club face too often and they want to swing fast. And the majority of the time when we're making changes is they get to the top of the swing, and as soon as the fast element gets involved, everyone's fast element that struggles with this ends in this. They can swing at 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour like this. However, we've got to get used to the idea of getting 80, 90 miles an hour from, well, here. And that takes time. Let's break it down. Let's get used to the idea of our body going this way, towards the target. Feel like that club sweeping behind you. And because you need to get your weight this way at impact, it's going to take a bit of nursing, a bit of getting used to. But when you get used to combining the two of them, maybe it is worthwhile looking at something a tiny bit shinier. But before I go into the benefits of what I think new Fairway Woods bring to the table and give you guys a reason to actually upgrade, last drill, something to potentially help a lot of you, because too often I see this, and it's a great drill by the way, fixing your swing path, fixing that driver slice, you tee it up nice and high, you bring this right foot back, you bring these shoulders out, your driver's going much straighter, you're loving it. However, it doesn't work with the Fairway Woods. It's because you can't tee that ball up off the ground like the driver. We've got the ground to contend with. And too often I see people trying to fix their Fairway Woods shots by bringing their right foot back, closing their shoulders, and again, trying to get that club into out. The issue that we have here is because we're closing this off, it means that we're going to have to back out of it. We're going to have to flip this hands at impact to get the ball anywhere near the target. Otherwise, you're just going to hit lovely shots out to the right-hand side. Therefore, we've got to get some momentum going towards the target, as well as keeping that club behind us, which is so difficult. Anything shallow is very difficult to hit down on the ground. You can see where my low point wants to be, and obviously this is exaggerated. Therefore, we've got to get used to this free-flowing idea of that club hitting down on that golf ball, but coming on the inside. A great pre-shot routine, parallel to the target. Get used to the idea of hitting the ground on this left-hand side whilst bringing that club from the inside. And I couldn't care less if you hit a draw or a fade, but it's just got to be somewhere down that target line with enough loft that that ball gets up in the air. So let's talk about equipment and equipment changes and potentially some recommendations for you guys that won't break the bank in terms of getting the forgiveness and launch once you've worked on those techniques, because a lot of those shots, I've used something, well, that's relatively old. And if you've watched this channel for a while, you'll know one thing has not changed, or very little change, and that is ball speed. Okay, don't get me wrong, tiny bit left, but for a £20 club that you'd probably find at the car boot, 156 ball speed isn't necessarily the issue. Not to mention some of you guys that hit the ball quite hard probably don't have a fairway wood issue anyway. However, let's make this a bit more realistic. Let's get into the realms of 85 miles an hour, somewhere around there for a lot of you guys with your fairway wood. 86, that was close. This is the number I'm more concerned about, especially for this kind of club head speed. Just too low. We need more height. More height equals straighter shots as well, especially on the off-center stuff. Let's get the backspin up. Let's loft this up to something a bit newer. Let's say a 5 wood, and let's see the difference at 86 miles an hour. Right, new club on the table. This is a 5 wood, this isn't a 3 wood, and there's a reason for this. Forget new. You could even get an old 5 fairway wood, and it's gonna help your golf game. Very rarely do I see players that need a 3 wood, and they're the players that swing it so fast that they probably just want a driver replacement as another club to get up and around the green. So loft up with your fairway woods. Benefit number 2, these are lighter. There's no question about it. You're gonna get more club head speed, and I'm not talking over the last year, I'm talking over the last 5 to 6 years. Fairway woods have got a lot lighter. The shafts have got lighter. The weight generally on a fairway wood is now at the back, which is going to improve its MOI and forgiveness, but also increase its launch. Because bearing in mind, now after drill 1, 2, and 3, we're hitting down into that ball. We need that launch. We need that shaft to kick that fairway wood this way, add a bit more launch, get a bit more height. Right, here we go. 5 wood, 85 miles an hour. Opposed to the 3 wood one. Oh, I've hit a lovely one there at 92 miles an hour. I don't think I can justify someone swinging 7 miles an hour faster with this than that, but let's look at the numbers. Tell you what, that would be a club fit, wouldn't it? I just give someone a fairway wood, it sorts out their club path, the angle of attack slightly on the down, the efficiency goes through the roof. But here's the numbers we're more concerned about. This launch angle is now up, which is helping that ball to spin more, getting that height. So now you have a bit of approach play. The carry and the total distance is going to be similar. And I'm not saying this here will potentially go further than that over there on a great shot. Same conditions, everything else, straight out the middle. But I can definitely say for sure, if you hit an off-center shot with a new updated fairway wood at the toe or heel, especially with these numbers, because you've got a 5 wood, i.e. you're going to get more launch and more spin, you will see better bad shots because that side spin isn't just going to take that fairway wood over that way. And again, it's a good example there. If you swing your fairway wood around 90 miles an hour and you're not even getting anywhere near 230 yards with it, it is achievable. Maybe look at getting something a tiny bit higher lofted, or maybe look at a few of the drills that I just showed you there a minute ago. As I showed you, physically, your ball should be able to go that distance. One last thing that we haven't talked about with the benefit of newer fairway woods, which this one doesn't actually have on it, is adjustable loft. I do feel adjustable loft is great, not only for you tweaking and changing, maybe you've got a 5 wood, you need more loft to try and make it more of a 7 wood, but changing shafts. Having a fairway wood, you like it, you hit it, the head feels great, but maybe you feel like you need something stiffer and you just want to buy something off eBay, same shaft adapter, 30, 40 pound as a change, as a feeling. Maybe you want to go lighter, maybe you want to try a light flex, ladies flex shaft in the same fairway wood to get more launch, to get more backspin. Again, that's another benefit of the newer model fairway woods opposed to the older ones. So underrated fairway woods. Lastly, let's talk about price ranges. Now, if you only want to spend £50, something like that, try and get most up to date with the adjustability, sleek head design, weight, you name it, £50 option, Titleist 917, or maybe a bit older, Titleist 915. I'll show you some prices, eBay here on the right hand side, and again, it's a good start. Maybe you haven't got a fairway wood in the bag at the moment, you haven't got a 5 wood, and you want to try something. Number 2, heavily underrated in their fairway section, is Mizuno. Pretty much all the ST200 range, ST180, again, 70, 80, 90 pounds. If you want a black version, which arguably I think looks better, £90, somewhere around that ballpark, adjustable all the way at the back, and again, pretty much underrated when it comes to fairway woods. And then lastly, Ping, more expensive when it comes to fairway woods, there's just no question about it. However, Ping do a very good job at keeping the head small, i.e. top to bottom, and putting all the weight at the back, giving you the most kind of forgiveness. Normally, a G400 is going to be the more pricier option, but yes, considering fairway woods nowadays cost around £250 plus, £120 for a G400 5 wood, 7 wood, around that ballpark figure, I think is more than reasonable. And to be honest, you're not going to lose that much money with it if you do come to sell it in a couple of years. Guys, please consider subscribing if you like this video, and if you want to see more of my content, especially when it comes to drivers, click this video up here on the right hand side. Catch you guys later.